Was that a month to celebrate or what? Pokemon's official 20th anniversary brought a lot of new reveals and promotions with it, and among them was a constant stream of reveals for Pokkén Tournament. With the Wii U version now a mere few weeks away, time to look over everything we learned over the course of February. How about we start with the thing a lot of people have been wondering about, what kind of single-player campaign there'd be. The Ferrum League tasked the player and their Pokemon companion with becoming the champion of a league that handles itself a little differently than the ones from the main series games. With 4 ranks to rise through and a colorful cast of NPC trainers to face off against, it looks to be worth spending time in as you hone your skills. And perhaps learn more about the mysterious trainer Anne and the corrupted Mewtwo she's seeking out. In addition, within the campaign there's a feature called My Town, where you can adjust your battle setups and in-game settings, including, according to the info going around, disabling Nia's commentary. Phew. You can also spend in-game currency there to buy new outfits for your avatar and alter their appearance to however you wish. And those of you thinking about shady practices and microtransactions from elsewhere, you needn't worry. Your main source of income here is simply from winning fights. Outside of Ferrum League, there's also a pretty robust training mode. You can go over basics of the battle system, practice a character freely, and even use in-game guides to learn their movesets and some basic combos. But we've also learned of a lot of content for the main game as well. A total of 4 new stages have been revealed. Though we'd been teased about it before, the Diggersby Land amusement park stage is fully confirmed now. And it shows just how much was put into the world building for this game that it has an in-depth description for its background scenery. We also know of 3 brand new stages now. The classic Eastern-inspired Ferrum Dojo, the more modern Speed Training Gym, and an alternate version of Old Ferrum Town set in winter, featuring elaborate snow and ice sculptures. Various pre-release clips have shown there's room for up to 19 stages on the menu as is, and these new stages only bring the total we know of to 13. Even if Shadow Mewtwo's boss stage is unlockable, which seems pretty likely, there are still a few more in the base game that we still don't know of. But that's not all. Over the course of February, we learned of all of the remaining support Pokemon. First up is Cubone, who uses Bonemerang for a long-distance attack that hits twice and knocks opponents towards you, and Diglett, who, predictably enough, digs underground then knocks its target skyward for easy follow-ups. I gotta say though, don't we have enough from Generation 1 already? Couldn't they have used, say, Drillbur over Diglett? I mean, the newer games matter too. Anyway, our next set features Magneton, whose Tri-Attack is a potent anti-air move that inflicts multiple debuffs, and Quagsire, who uses Mud Bomb to deal shield-piercing damage to grounded foes. Rounding out the early reveals are a popular pair, Espeon, whose Morning Sun cures debuffs and heals more HP the later in the fight you summon it, and Umbreon, whose Snarl attack steals a portion of the opponent's synergy gauge and neutralizes their ability to land critical hits, severely limiting the victim's ability to force a phase change. The final 4 assists weren't revealed until pre-release footage started appearing, and oh boy did they say the strongest for last. Yveltal's Oblivion Wing is a powerful attack that temporarily disables your opponent's synergy gauge, paired with Latios, who uses Luster Purge to scatter hitboxes around your opponent and limit where they can move. Reshiram's mighty Blue Flare incinerates anyone immediately in front of you while weakening their attack power. And finally, Cresselia's Lunar Dance is somewhat unique, providing HP recovery, status recovery, and a small synergy gauge charge. But she can only be summoned once per set of battles. What more could there be? What characters could there be left for us to discover? Apparently, none. It seems the 16 we already know of is all the base roster will have. It's, not gonna lie, it's a real shock. A roster of just 16 characters is awfully low for a major fighting game nowadays, even if it is the first installment of the series. And that's a feeling I've noticed a lot of people having, that the current roster feels off, that it feels incomplete. Not only is the character count so unexpectedly low, the character selections feel rather off-balance. While all of them feel very inspired and well-designed, there's still the fact that nearly half of them are from Gen 1 and 1/4 are fire types. Even the character select screen itself has gaps on the upper left and upper right sides, as if more characters are supposed to be there. We haven't heard much in regards to it either. The dev team has said little beyond a statement that there aren't any plans for DLC at this moment, a neutral jury's outline that says they want to finish the base game right now and they're not going to consider DLC until they're done. A developer interview only revealed a little more. That producer Masaki Hoshino, I hope I pronounced that right, is a big Absol fan, and that there were fan requests for Pachirisu after its showing at the Pokemon World Championships a while back, but one became an assist and the other is missing in action. So, going forward, could there be any new content? Well, I don't know. I mean, I could definitely see DLC happening. The fact that they're not working on it right this moment doesn't mean they've ruled it out, and so it could end up happening just like it did with Smash Brothers. You know there will be a lot of fan demand for extra characters, stages, and assists. There might even be free post-game content, in the form of rolling updates in the style of Splatoon or Super Mario Maker. It's hard to say right now, although my gut instinct tells me it'll probably happen, especially if they want to add anyone from the newly announced Pokemon Sun and Moon. Even if they did go ahead with DLC, there's still a lot of questions as to what form it'd take and what characters they might choose to add. Could they treat it as an extension of the base roster? Could they run another fan poll in the style of the Smash Ballot? Or maybe they'd rather decide for themselves who would stand out the best, perhaps focusing on characters who are already very well liked by important members of the dev team and by the fan base, and probably only barely miss the base roster? But it's all just speculation. Flaws and unanswered questions aside though, Pokkén Tournament is looking to be an amazing game that'll draw in both casual Pokemon fans and the more dedicated players who want to take their favorite character, or just whichever high tier they like the most, all the way to the top. Content isn't necessarily done, but even if it is, we'd be best off not jumping to conclusions or holding it against the guys over at Namco Bandai if the game or its roster don't perfectly match our imaginations. Wishful thinking is always fun, but let's judge the real thing on its own merits. Thanks for listening in on this admittedly belated discussion. Any feedback is welcome, or even just a like or a subscription if you'd like to hear more. As more relevant Nintendo news drops, keep checking in for more analysis. And as always, thanks for listening.